and that's alright. I don't know, and that's alright. I don't know, and that's alright.
But the one thing I do know is that we are all one with Spirit. That there is one mind, one creative source, one loving presence that exists in, as, and through each of us. We are each unique manifestations of that divine givingness, of that loving presence. And so I affirm for each one here today and each one listening or each one listening at a later time that we come into a greater recognition of that truth and that we learn to distinguish the difference between opinion, fact, and truth with a capital T, because we are open to that understanding. We are open to knowing that we are in alignment with truth when we are allowing ourselves to be in the presence of Spirit. And that presence is always available within each of us, just waiting to be expressed, just waiting to be acknowledged. And so I simply know that this is our truth, that we breathe into this today, and that we uplift and support one another on this journey, in this process. And so with deep gratitude and grace, an expectation of good and greater good, because that is where I place my attention, I simply know that all is well, and that this law, this ever-present law into which I speak, which does unto us as we believe, hears me and is already demonstrating. And so I simply let it go, and I invite you all to join me in saying, and so it is. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Morristown. Okay, let's get my script part. A vibrant community where love, joy, and inclusivity are at the heart of everything we do. Here, we honor the unique journey of every soul, offering a place of healing, growth, and celebration. Together, we create an atmosphere of openness and love, where every person is seen, valued, and accepted just as they are. My name is Carlson. I'm a licensed practitioner here, and thank you for joining us. It's great to see your faces, and if you are watching us on the live stream or checking us out at a later time, we are glad you are here. We are happy that you are part of this journey of shared wisdom, light, and transformation. If this is your first time, and I don't see any first-time cases, but we have welcome packets and we have a constant contact newsletter. If you do not receive it, please sign up for it so you can keep up with what's going on here. We have a lot going on. And you can also visit our website at cslmorristown.org, which has recently been updated, and I believe that one of my last poems from the last couple weeks was just put on the blog page as the blog for November. So anyway, we're trying to keep it up to date. Check it out. We did have Grayson Nierenberg was supposed to be our musician, but he got a last minute opportunity to go to Italy. And so we said, go, have a great time, Grayson. And so today we are doing recorded music, and we are going to have a sing-along partway through, and I know that people are going to come up and join me and sing along. You know how I feel about the sound of my voice, so I'm counting on you all to carry me. But the last song we just had was Bob Sima, I Don't Know, and That's All Right. And so today I am going to be talking about differentiating between truth, fact, and opinion, and speaking with love and discernment. And being able to admit that you don't know is part of that, right? So, but first, we're going to start the way we always start at CSLM, which is with our Namaste practice. So Namaste is the Sanskrit word for the divinity within me recognizes and honors the divinity within you. But since, I always have to tweak it, right? I have to tweak it for the topic. So since we're going to be talking about truth with a capital T, I would like you to say, the truth within me recognizes and honors the truth within you, because that is what the divinity is, right? Divinity is truth. And so that place of oneness within us, that is that place of divinity, is that place of truth. So I invite you to put your hands together over your heart space and to turn to someone and say, the truth within me recognizes and honors the truth within you.
Namaste.
The truth within me recognizes and honors
Namaste. Namaste.
the truth within me recognizes and honors the truth within you. So does everyone feel seen? Do they feel like they're in alignment with their truth? Okay, so, yeah, this is a topic, very timely topic for our time, right? The difference between opinions, facts, and truth, something that is very prevalent in the world in which we live. But, so, last week I spoke about learning to love the unlikable in yourself, right? And so I just want to refer to that and to ask you if you consider whether those things are opinions, facts, or truths about you. Right? Because for me, I spoke about how I didn't like the sound of my voice. And so is the sound of my voice annoying? I mean, it's an opinion I had. But let me tell you something, that since I shared that talk, so many people have reached out to me and told me how the sound of my voice, the volume, the enthusiasm, all the things that bother me about it are what resonate with them. That it helps them, that it's meaningful to them. I have had some beautiful expressions and responses from people to that experience. So was that a truth? No, that was an opinion, right? So first we're going to talk about the difference between opinion, fact, and truth. So opinions are personal viewpoints, right? You know what they say, everybody's got one. I'm not going to say the other half of that, we all know what it is. But they are shaped by experience, emotion, and perception. They're not necessarily right or wrong. I know it's difficult in this world in which we live to remember that, but they are subjective. And they are much like the likes and dislikes that I talked about last week. They are changeable. They are an aspect of personality. How many of you have changed your opinion about something in your life?
Never.
Right? Yeah, never. Yes. All right, we're going to talk about that word never in a little bit. So,
We're going to
yes.
change it for you.
Yeah. So opinions are things that change, and opinions are subjective based on your experience. Facts are based on evidence, right? They can be verified, measured, they're quantitative, you can look them up, but guess what? Even facts change. Facts evolve. Look, there was a time when this was considered a solid object. Now, thanks to quantum physics, we know that it is moving molecules, right? We know things that we thought were facts. With the evolution of more information, as more is revealed, we discovered that they're not facts rooted in stone. Facts, too, can evolve and change. And when you remember that, it makes it easier to let go of your attachment to them, right? We like to stay stuck in our opinions, stuck in facts. But when you remember that those things are changeable, it is easier to have a different experience with them. So the only thing that is timeless, changeless, and forever, guess what it is? Spiritual truth. Truth with a capital T. So I'm going to be talking about that today, and I'm also going to be talking about speaking truth, in a smaller T way, but spiritual truth. The truth that we are one with the divine. The truth that love is present within each of us. The truth that love is all there is, and that we are all connected. All of these things which we believe, that is spiritual truth, and that never changes. That is the base on which we stand. That is our foundation. And when we come to opinions and facts from that understanding, from that central place of truth, then we are able to see those things differently. And that's what the spiritual journey is. You know, Ernest Holmes says, remain open at the top. You all know I like to treat like this, right? It means remain open to new ideas. It means be open to the fact that things are ever evolving and changing. Don't get your feet so stuck in the cement of what you think that you're unable to move forward. So let me tell you something. So I am a perfect example of things changing. You know that saying, a leopard can't change its spots? Well, let me tell you, most of you know my story. My spots have completely changed. So my backstory, a lot of you know, is, my story of recovery, right? And just last week I celebrated 12 years in recovery. So for most of my life and most of my addiction and alcoholism, I considered myself to be a liar. I used lies to hide what I was ashamed of, to hide my behaviors, to, make things easier. I used to tell myself, oh, I'm honest, I just lie to protect other people because I don't want to hurt my family and I don't want, really I just wanted to get what I needed and what I wanted. But I used to delude myself into thinking that that wasn't being dishonest. However, in my heart of hearts, what I told myself over and over was, I am a liar. Oh my God, I am a liar. And I said that with that I am statement, right? And what is it we know in this teaching? That I am is the most powerful affirmation you can make. And what follows I am should only be, and I hate that word should, but should only be an aspect of God or something that you want to demonstrate in your life because it is powerful. When you say, I am exhausted, well, you're going to walk through life like you're exhausted. When you say, I am overwhelmed, you're affirming that into law that you are overwhelmed. Differently is to say, I feel overwhelmed. I feel exhausted, right? Because that's true. You feel that way. But when you say I am, you are purporting it as fact. So Neville Goddard, this, me and my quotes, Gene. So Neville Goddard says, when you walk in the feeling, I am so-and-so, whatever it is not seen as yet. And the more you feel it to be real, the more natural it becomes. Then it clothes itself in external facts. But the external fact is not the truth of it. Truth and fact can oppose each other. Truth does not depend upon fact. Truth depends upon the intensity of your imagination. So think about that, right? That's what we believe. We believe that we co-create our lives with our thinking, with our imagination, that we are creating that which we are every moment by our choices, by what we choose to focus on, by how in alignment with our truth we are. So that aspect of the I am statement and remembering the power that it has and making a different choice about what you say after it is really powerful. When I changed in recovery, I did a lot of step work, it's called in recovery, but on a spiritual journey, it could be working with a practitioner, it's doing inner work, it's doing journaling, it's taking forgiveness classes, it's all of that work. Oh my God, all that self-examination, right? Because it doesn't just happen overnight. Your spots don't just change, but you can make a choice and do the work with conscious intention to change them. And one of those ways to change them is to change the language you use around them. So when I stopped calling myself a liar and saw the difference between, yes, I tell lies, that's true, but am I a liar? There's a difference, and it sounds subtle, but it's language, and it's that I am statement, right? So it's like The I am a liar is denying the truth that I am one with spirit. And if I am a vessel of spirit and spirit is truth and spirit is integrity, then how can I be not truth and integrity? I can be out of alignment with it. I can behave in a way that is out of alignment with it. I can act in a way that is out of alignment with it, but the truth of me, capital T, truth of me, is that I am integrity because I am one with spirit. And that's the spiritual journey, to remember that, to practice it. What's Lori's mantra? Daily practices. To do those things that bring you into alignment with remembering that truth, that bring you into alignment with that ability to change your spots, right? And then the universe comes along and assists you in that belief. That's what Neville Goddard was talking about, that vivid, that imagination. Things come around to create that which you keep in mind, that vision that you have of yourself. We all know the power of words. So one of the easiest ways, in my experience, that you can use them, besides not saying I am something, is to get rid of absolutism. Who just said never over here? So absolutism is when you say never, always, none, every, right? And is any of that true? Who says, oh, I'm always tired? Or, oh, she's always late? Or, I'm never going to get this done? Is any of that true? Right? I mean, I'm sure that maybe you're often late, or maybe you're almost always late. But always? Wasn't there one time when you were on time? Right? Like, or I'll never get this done. Never? Never is a long time. What does that even mean? Eventually, if it needs to get done, you'll get it done. And so all of those statements that you make, you know, she's never there for me. Wait a minute, I'm sure there was a time when that person was there for you. Or there will be a time if you don't affirm into law that she's never going to be there for you, right? So it takes changing the language, and that always takes awareness. That takes awareness and conscious intention. And look, I just said that always takes awareness, and always is one of those words. But I think that that's one time when it's true. I do think it always starts with awareness. Because if you're not aware, you have no possibility of change. So I do believe I'm consciously choosing to say always. Always starts with awareness, at least for me. And so we need to remember that our choice of language is so important. So one of the things I really like about AA and my recovery journey is some of the language. And one of the things, like I said, step work, one of the things that helped me to change my spots was doing a moral inventory. It's step 4 in the 12 steps. And they talk about rigorous honesty. So I love this, okay? So I'm a poet, I love words, I love language, I love the intensity. Neville Goddard said that thing about imagination, right? So when you use a word, a descriptive, empowering word that uplifts the emotion, then you are bringing that into a field of demonstration, right? Michael Beckwith always talks about the feeling tone. And that's the power in affirmative prayer, right? It's not necessarily the words you use, it's what those words make you feel, right? You use words. I love to use words, and I use them until they create a feeling in me, a feeling of oneness, a feeling of love, a feeling of joy. The words create the emotion, which creates the demonstration, which is how you co-create your life. So it's really important to choose the words you use. And that's where the other kind of true comes in. So I do a lot of Buddhist stuff because I'm in a Buddhism and recovery group. And Buddhism talks about right speech, right? Telling the truth telling the truth when it's true, necessary, and kind. They're called the 3 gates before you speak. So, so much of what we say, so much of our time and energy is spent talking, right? Who talks too much? Anybody else relate to that? Yeah. But how much of it is opinion? How much of it is necessary? How much of it is true? And how much of it is kind? I have found in my experience, and I think you may experience the same if you try it, that when you ask yourself those 3 things, a lot of conversation falls away. Because there's things that are true, but they're not necessary. There's things that are necessary, but they're not kind. There's things that are kind, but they're not true. So to find something that fits all 3 before you speak it, it really limits the amount of things you say, let me tell you. And that's a good thing, because in that space, in that pause, and the next 3 are about the pause, you allow room for spirit, you allow room for grace. So the Buddhists have another 3 gates. Does it need to be said? Does it need to be said, right? That's that necessary part. Does it need to be said by me? And then, this is my favorite and the most transformational in my life, does it need to be said by me now? Because when you use that last one, yes, maybe you're the only one who can say it. Yes, it's your opinion, you need to say it. But do you need to say it now? When you're at Thanksgiving with your family, is it necessary that you say this now? And when you pause and you say, ooh, do I need to say this now? That pause allows you to use discernment. That pause allows you to bring spirit in. That pause allows you to ask yourself questions and not fall into rote behaviors and just espouse the same opinions and the pseudo facts and all the things that we use in normal conversation that we just don't think about, right? Like I said, it always, for me, comes back to awareness. Being aware of what it is you're saying, being aware of the effect that it has on people. And a really good question to ask yourself in any kind of conversation or discussion or anything is, what would love say? Right? What would love say? In that pause and in that choice of discernment, allow yourself to ask, what would love say? Or what would spirit have me say? That's another way of saying the same thing, because spirit and love are the same thing. So what would love say, and what would spirit have me say? And then pause and sit with that and use your discernment to come from a place of love. And let me tell you, in this world in which we live, there are so many opportunities to use discernment, right? We are given a constant barrage of information that is not always true, that is often opinion pretending to be fact, that is often fact based in opinion. I mean, all of it. And we can look at it and become overwhelmed, or we can say, oh, look how much opportunity the universe is providing me with to practice discernment. I can practice pausing. I can practice being curious, because that's one of the big things about this information and this, telling the difference between opinion, fact, and truth, is being curious and asking questions. So when someone says something, gives you an opinion that you don't like, or tries to tell you a fact that you don't believe, instead of just counteracting it and fighting against it and resisting, get curious. Ask questions like, why do you think that? Or where did you hear that? Or how did, ask questions. What in your experience has led you to believe that? Right? Because we've all we're all basing our opinions on our experience. And a lot of times when you ask questions, you're allowing them a moment of discernment. Because maybe they never thought to think about it. They're just spouting back out what they've heard, right? But if you ask a question, then you're inviting someone else to pause and think about it. You're inviting someone else to respond rather than just react. Because discernment isn't about judgment as much as it is about clarity. Being clear about what Spirit is telling you. Get it pausing and allowing yourself to hear that intuitive guidance, to hear that truth, and to pause long enough for others to hear it. So is anybody here a Ted Lasso fan? Yeah, yes. So I love Ted Lasso, and there's a great scene in Ted Lasso where he talks about curiosity. It's the dart scene. Does anybody even know it? So he's playing a game of darts with somebody who has judged him and thinks he's gonna, wipe him out, and they bet some huge bet. I think it's the team or something, and the guy's just like making fun of him. And then Ted Lasso says, well, if you had been curious, he says he saw a billboard once, I think it's Aristotle, I don't know, so some philosopher, I can't remember who it is right now, but said, be curious, not judgmental. And so he said, I realized that all of these kids that, bullied me when I was growing up and everybody, they were judgmental, they were never curious. And so he says to the guy, if you had been curious, and he goes, and the dart goes right in, and he goes, if you had been curious, instead of judgmental, you might have asked me, have I ever played darts before? And then he goes, boom, goes right in. And he goes, I might have told you that, yes, every Sunday afternoon, from when I was 10 to when I was 16, I played darts all afternoon with my father. Boom. So he kills it, of course he wins. But the idea is that when you make judgments, instead of getting curious, you're staying in that place of opinion. You're staying in that place of purported facts, right? This guy was making a judgment that was based on his opinion. It was not based in truth, and it had nothing to do with his true abilities. So when you get curious, when you stay open at the top, when you allow yourself to align with Spirit and hear the truth, then there's always a different possibility. The Bob Simon song that we played at the beginning was, I don't know, and that's all right. So how many of you are comfortable with saying that? Like when somebody asks you something, you just say, I don't know, instead of trying to have an answer, right? I mean, so many people, myself, I'm guilty of it too. We want to have an answer. We want to say what we know or what we think or what we believe or what we feel or, but just think about the space that it creates for Spirit. Think of the discernment it allows when you just say, I don't know. I don't know, and that's all right. I don't know, and that's all right. It allows for a space, it allows for grace. It allows for other people to come into their own understanding. One of the things about being on a spiritual journey, and one of the things in this teaching, is that we see the divinity in others, right? We reflect back to them their own inner divinity. Ernest Holmes' famous quote, life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks. Well, as people on a spiritual journey, we want to reflect back to others the truth of who they are. That they are one with the divine, that they are love in action, that they are expressions of Spirit. And how can we do that if we don't allow space, if we aren't curious, if we don't admit that we don't know, if we aren't willing to hear the other side? I'm not saying you have to change your opinion. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that it's important to leave space because opinions do change. And if you're open and listen and ask questions, you may just shift your opinion a little bit. I thought it was a cloudy day, now the sun's come out. Right? In all of these ways, things change. But you have to pay attention to them. And one of the best ways you can do that, like I said, is to challenge yourself to be more aware of your language. And of course, like I said, your daily practices. What are you willing to do? Are you willing to pay attention to your language? Are you willing to do your prayers, your meditation, read spiritual readings? So, we live in a world where we're bombarded with all this information, right? And a lot of it's negative. What are you doing to balance that? Are you balancing all of that pseudo-truth and opinion with Truth, capital T, by reading spiritual readings, by spending time in prayer, by spending time in conversation that is about principle? Are you spending time in principle to balance the effect of all of this chaos and information that we live in? Because that is a choice. You have the ability to do that. You choose what you do with your time. You choose where you put your attention. And so when the news and the social media gets to be a lot, choose to read the good news. Reasons to be Cheerful is one of my favorite news feeds. There is good news. Choose to read from a spiritual book, 365, Science of Mind, or anything, whatever it is for you that lifts you up. I like Mark Nepo. Nothing like Mark Nepo to lift my spirits. But I spend time every morning doing my spiritual readings. Before I go on Facebook, before I look at the news, I spend time coming into alignment with truth so that from that place, I'm better able to deal with all of the disinformation and chaos and opinion that surrounds us. That makes sense? Okay, so I'm going to challenge you all to be more aware of your language, to make a choice, to do something, whatever it is. And of course, like I always say, on a daily basis, try to do it regularly. Let it become a habit, because that's how you change your spots. Okay, that's how a leopard changes its spots, by doing something differently, by choosing how you say I am, by making a conscious effort to use language to demonstrate truth and to create the life that you want. Because it is possible, that's what we believe in this teaching, that we are very able to do that. And so I invite you today to do just that. And we're going to come back and have a little meditative practice about doing that. And I'm sorry, guys, I wrote a poem. You guys are going to get so tired of hearing poetry of mine. But it's just, I'm trying to embrace that part of myself that wants to speak, right? That part of my voice, not this part, but the part of my voice that is spirit, and the poetry is just pouring out of me these days. So you're gonna be subject to it. This is where I share it. So we're gonna do a little meditative practice. I'm gonna come back and share a new poem with you. But first, since we don't have a musician, we're gonna do a sing-along. So, you have words on all of your chairs, the words to the song, and I have invited some people to come up so that I'm not up here by myself. Anybody else who would like to come up and join us up here, please do. Please feel free. We want people in front of the camera. We want to be a little choir up here. Yeah. Let me get my words. Do I have them somewhere? I have so many of them. Okay, Vern, whichever one. So these two songs are from Jennifer Russell. So they're very easy to follow. They're actually kids songs. Yeah. So they're fun, they're light, and they're very easy to follow along with. So I invite you to join us, or you could just sing the chorus, whatever you want to do. But okay, Vern, hit it.
We do the first one, which is honest.
Yeah, whichever one you want. Yep, honest. So we're gonna do honesty first.
Honesty first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like reggae, kind of. One of them.
A little louder. Yeah. What I mean what I say. I am honest. Can you get the volume up, Vern?
I tell the truth with kindness and tact. I am honest. I refuse to cheat. Steal from your own life. I don't try to fool anyone. I don't need to impress. I can be myself. I avoid deception.
Okay, here's the chorus.
I say what I mean what I say, I am honest.
We can keep
I tell the truth.
There we go. We had it up louder before you. My words, I am filled with integrity. When I make a mistake, I admit it. I am sincere and trustworthy. I say what I mean what I say, I am honest. I tell the truth with kindness and tact, I am honest. We are honest. Yeah, there we go, let's do that. Okay, guys. Wait, take it to the What time is it, Vern?
22:12.
Okay, so we have time to do the I tell the truth. It's another one just like that. And well, let's change it to we. It's fun, right? Okay, ready?
Like Jessica.
Yeah, anybody who wants to come up.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like Calypso. We can do this, ready?
Okay. Truth. I know I see the truth with my own eyes. Truthfulness builds bonds so free. Bonds of trust between you and me. Chrissy, we match. You have to come up here. Just as I am. I don't need to exaggerate or make things up to impress. I tell the truth, we don't lie. We see the truth with our own eyes. Truthfulness builds bonds so free. Bonds of trust between you and me. I like my imagination. I make up great fantasy. I don't mix it up with facts. I know what is reality. I tell the truth, we don't lie. We see the truth with our own eyes. Truthfulness builds bonds so free. Bonds of trust between you and me.
Maybe a little bit of.
Come on, everybody.
Come on, to the limbo.
People are watching. They might as well give us someone to look at.
Yeah, we're at it. Around.
Sets us free. The truth sets us free. I tell the truth, we don't lie. We see the truth with our own eyes. Truthfulness builds bonds so free. Bonds of trust between you and me. The truth sets us free. The truth sets us free. The truth sets us free. Yay! Thank you, everyone, for participating. Thank you, guys. That was so fun. So, meditation first or poem first? first? I don't know, we're all sort of riled up. Yeah, I'm gonna do a poem
Either
first.
one. Do what feels right.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to read the poem first, and then we'll go into meditation. So this poem is called I Once Called Myself a Liar.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
I once carried the word liar like a stone in my pocket. Heavy, familiar, yet smooth to the touch as it was so well worn. A name I thought I'd earned and deserved. It was true I had lied. True I had hidden who I was to survive inside circumstances that left me aching. Retelling stories that weren't always mine, but felt somehow needed. And beneath that word lived a deeper weight, the grief and shame of who I'd been, the despair of what I feared I'd become, the quiet sorrow of not yet knowing my own light. But somewhere beneath the breath and the breaking, between the word and the wonder, a softer voice whispered, "Beloved, that is not your name." So little by little, I let the story shift and the language change. I allowed the tears to come and the grief to speak itself empty until the words became my own, telling a different story. One that encouraged despair to unclench its fingers from around my heart and let love in. And slowly, ever so slowly, I loosened my grip on the shame that once felt like my name. I let the stone fall and didn't reach for it. I stood still long enough to feel the truth beneath the noise. I am more than the moments I was afraid to tell the truth. More than the shadows I once mistook for myself. I am the turning, the choosing, the release into something freer. I am the consciousness that rises above the story, the love that speaks in my own voice when I finally remember who I am. Thank you for indulging me. Okay, and now we're going to spend a few moments in meditation. So I invite you, if you are comfortable doing so, to close your eyes. Take a comfortable seat, sitting head over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Just allow yourself to really settle into your seat and be present. Take a deep inhale into this moment and exhale out anything you don't want to carry further. Inhaling in that sense of oneness with spirit and exhaling out anything that feels like a stone in your pocket. Let your breath flow in and out. Breathing in spirit, breathing out any sense of separation. And now, from this place of connected oneness, from this place of truth, I invite you to ask yourself, gently, without criticism, what is one thing I have considered to be true that may actually be an opinion I've repeated to myself? Allow whatever arises to arise. Don't force it. Just listen for the voice of Spirit. What is one thing I have considered to be true that may actually be an opinion I've repeated to myself? If a belief or a story appears, just hold it lightly. No judgment, no criticism, just awareness, curiosity, and always with a sense of kindness to yourself. And then ask yourself, do I have facts, actual observable facts that may be trying to tell me something different? I mean, just take a breath here and see what arises. See if there's something that you've been dismissing or not allowing. Let your breath open your heart. And just allow whatever comes up to come up. And then a slightly deeper layer of reflection. Am I perhaps being swayed by the opinions, emotions, or misinformation around me? Am I perhaps being swayed by the noise of the world? And just, like I said, no criticism, no judgment, just awareness. Simply breathe and allow what arises to arise. And if nothing does, that's okay too. Just be in the moment. And then ask yourself, what is spiritually true for me right now? What is spiritually true for me right now? What truth is trying to be heard beneath the facts and opinions of the outside world or even my own? What spiritual truth wants to be heard, wants to be known? And just take a breath here into that inner space of truth, into that place where you are in alignment with Spirit. Just breathe here and allow whatever arises to arise. Listening for that inner truth. This is discernment. Questioning, listening, allowing. And so now I want you to silently affirm to yourself, I return to truth. I listen to the wisdom within me. I choose clarity over confusion. I choose truth over fact or opinion. And take one deep breath and say to yourself, I remember who I am. I remember who I am. And then just take a breath and allow all of that to settle. And when you are ready, you can gently return your awareness to the room, coming back from that place of truth with a capital T to the recognition of who you truly are. Okay, so everybody feel connected? Did anything arise for anyone? Anything you're going to continue to think about? So this is a practice you can do, you can take home with you, and I encourage you that if something came up, to go home and journal about it, to go home and do some work around whatever arose, to make it part of your daily practices, that awareness I talked about, right? To bring that up. This spending time in meditation, spending time getting clear, spending time listening to spirit, allowing truth to arise. That's something we need to do much more often, hopefully on a daily basis. But you can encourage it by taking whatever came up to you for you today, right here, right now, and bringing it home with you and putting it on the top of a page and then journaling about it, seeing where that takes you. That's always a good practice. Okay, so from this place of feeling one and spiritual practice, we're going to do our conscious giving, which is the spiritual practice of the law of circulation. I'm passing a basket. There's envelopes in there. There's also a Venmo and PayPal code over there. You can go to our website and hit the donate button, which is what I like to do. You can text to give. You can give by signing up for a social hour. There's a board back there. In fact, Lynn, can you pass that? There's a board back there. We have all of December available, guys. So you can sign up for a social hour. You can bring friends and others to our center to, grow our community. There are lots of ways you can serve. One of the ways that I'm going to ask you to serve is to bring stuff for the jail box. So there's a box out in the hall, a plastic bin. We're collecting things for the jail. Lynn has very graciously agreed to collect money and do the actual buying. So if you are, don't want to go to the store yourself or can't, get to the store yourself, speak to Lynn. Thank you, Lynn, for that. And please, we only have till the end of November. I'm not here the next 2 weeks, but I want that bin to be full when I come back and bring it over to drop it off with them. Let's be a presence, So that's one way you can give back and show the law of circulation. But in our own givingness here, we are going to affirm, do an affirmation. So I invite you to repeat after me. I give from a place of gratitude.
I give from a place of gratitude
To the spiritual center that fills my soul.
to the spiritual center that fills my soul.
That reminds me of the truth.
That reminds me of the truth.
And allows me to express my truth.
And allows me to express my truth.
I know that as I give,
I know that as I give,
so I receive.
so I receive.
And so I give joyously,
And so I give joyously,
gratefully, and generously, knowing it comes back to me multiplied abundantly.
knowing it comes back to me multiplied abundantly.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Okay, so we have a bunch of announcements. So the first one I just made was about the jail, right? So I use that as part of our giving, but there is a flyer back there with specifics about what we're accepting, about what they need, right? What they're allowing. So take a flyer, pass them around, bring stuff, talk to Lynn, please participate. I do a meditation. A lot of you know that I now do a weekly meditation at the jail, and these guys are so hungry for community, for spiritual, nourishment, for knowing that people care and have not forgotten about them. There are a lot of people you don't realize. I always thought, it's my own ignorance, but I always thought that when you were in jail, everything was provided for you and you didn't have to worry, right? Because you're there, they feed you, that's not true. If you don't have money in your commissary, you can't get socks. You can't get soap. They give you food, they feed you, and they give you a minimum. So please, this Christmas season, let's contribute and share our abundance, because we are so abundant. Another way you can share is with our gratitude and blessing swap. The whole counter back there is full of stuff. Bring your stuff that you want to get rid of, that you want to exchange, that you want to give to someone else. Put it on the counter and then take whatever speaks to you. This is all about give and take, right? It's about the law of circulation and spreading the blessings. I know I shared when I talked about this that I let go of things by saying, go forth and bless someone else. So go forth and bless someone else. You brought me joy, but now it's time to go bless someone else. So we are also, there's a thing here for Nourish New Jersey. So we are doing it with Brookside, I believe. Donations will be accepted in I don't know how to say this word, Sciella Hall over there in Brookside. So they are collecting food because of all of the food insecurity, right? I know SNAP benefits were re-established, but there is still a lot of food insecurity out there. So we are partnering with Brookside to collect food. Okay. Coming up, we have on Sunday, December 7th, we have a sound journey with the amazing Kat Roman. You need to register on Breeze because it does fill up and there's only a certain amount of spots. I already got mine. So there's a flyer, spread the word, sign up. On December 18th, Thursday, we're having another Women to Women luncheon. I can't make those Thursdays, but I heard it was amazing last time. I even got some food from some special friends, saved me food from the last one. So you want to come and have great community and conversation and food. So that is on December 18th, I believe. Talk to Kathy Ronka.
Sign up sheet.
Sign up sheet is in the back. Okay. So, oh my God, there's so many announcements. We're in January already? January 4th, Chris Ferraro will be doing a Release, Renew, and Radiate workshop after she speaks that Sunday. So sign up for that on Breeze. There are still some Science of Mind magazines back there. Oh my God, if you don't get Science of Mind magazine, I don't know what's wrong with you. I live with my Science of Mind magazine. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, it is an opinion. It is an opinion, and I own it.
No,
this
it's
is the best investment. This is the best investment of $11.95 that you can make. There is so much good stuff. Every day you get a reading. There are articles. I mean, I have it next to my bed with a highlighter and all these markings in it and everything. And I'm just saying, we still have some. If you've never gotten one, I challenge you as your challenge to get one, and then you will have a daily practice because there's a daily reading in it. And guess what? You know what I'm going to say right now? If you get it and you do not get something out of it, I personally will refund you the $12 because that's how much I believe in it. So check it out. Also, we are still looking for people for our welcome and greeters team. Thank you to Eileen Gantz, who has been leading it for so long. She would like to be able to step back and have someone else lead the group. We also are always looking for more greeters. We are very grateful for those that we have, but if you are willing to be of service and greet, please speak to Eileen. Okay, so we also have the first Friday Healing Circle. The next one will be the first Friday in January, or in December, right? We're not in December yet. Okay, and that's always an amazing experience. It's really powerful. Gail Belluardo leads it, and I have not missed one since we restarted from COVID. So I get a gold star, I know. So with all of that, you can see that we have so much going on here. We are living in abundance and gratitude and grace and standing in truth. So let's continue to do that. We have a potluck social hour today. We invite you to stay and conversate and recognize, have spiritually uplifting conversations, no focusing on the negative, no complaints, right? Let's try and have a social hour that's all full of recognizing the spiritual truth in one another. And so with all of that, we are going to end, as we always do, in this enthusiasm. Someone told me, do you ever keep your feet on the ground? So in all of that enthusiasm and in this voice, which I still don't like the sound of, but which I embrace, I invite you to close your eyes and to hear these words as if they were your own. This is an affirmative prayer, which means that we are not begging and beseeching to a God outside of ourselves, but we are simply affirming that truth with a capital T that we know. And so from this place of oneness, from this place of infinite loving presence that exists within each, I know this. I know that this community is an expression of love. We are love in action. And we show up for one another and support one another and reflect back to each other that inner truth and divinity within each of us. And so I know that each one here and each one listening has been fed today by this message, by our joyous song together, by the energy that this community shares, by the love that we are, and by the recognition that we get to make choices today that bring us into greater alignment with that truth. And so from this place, I am deeply grateful. I am grateful for this community. I am grateful for the opportunity to be here with you all. And I am grateful for every moment that I get to spend in conscious contact with that one truth, with that one love, with that one presence. And so with deep gratitude and grace, I lovingly, joyfully, and expectantly, because I know that the law is always listening and always doing unto us as we believe. And as I believe in the power of this word, in the power of prayer, and in the power of this community, I simply let it go. And I invite you all to join me in saying, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, everybody. And we have a Bob Sima song to close out, but I think we're at time, so if you want to just go to social hour. But this is good words, good thoughts, good deeds. It's really a cool song. Way over time, so.
Did good. Yeah.
You guys are we still streaming? Sure.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.